right, Lagos, welcome on board to the first edition of Lagos Farmers here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This show brings you the heartbeat of agriculture right here in the ever bustling and hustling city of Lagos. In a state known for traffic, technology, talent, and of course, we cannot forget agriculture. How can we possibly forget the strongest engine powering the economy, across board in major economies across the globe, from urban farming to the heart of from urban farming to commercial farming, from the heart of Surulere to Ekpe to Badagry. We all know that Lagos is a coastal city, but then again, there are some areas where we have arable farming land. Did you know that? Stay connected with us on Lagos Farmers here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Every week on the show, we will explore the innovations, the challenges, the policies, and the inspiring stories of farmers, entrepreneurs, and everyday Lagosians shaping the future of food supply in Lagos. Welcome on board. My name is Taiwo Barua. I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have my co-anchor in the studio with me, and together we're going to be dissecting issues on the program. And of course, my co-anchor is Adedeji Odulesi.
Yes, good evening. Nice being here today.
All right, good to have you on board doing this with you. Then again, you might be wondering, how do we intend to take this program this afternoon? We have the honor of hosting the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture in Lagos. Emmanuel Fatai Audu is our guest on this maiden edition of Lagos Farmers. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Lagos. It's nice being here this evening.
All right, then let's get down to business. Let's talk agric in Lagos. Talk to me about agric in Lagos and what the Lagos state government has been doing, in terms of food security in Lagos. Let's start with that.
Well, thank you very much. Well, as a government, in repositioning agriculture in Lagos State. Before now, agriculture had been, classified as a pastime activity or as a developmental activity. But we know that agriculture commands good numbers in most climes of the world. Farmers are known to be very rich. And it's that dimension that the state government, under the leadership of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, when he came on board, decided to take on agriculture and to tackle all of the issues around it to ensure that food production is scaled in the state and the farmers do get to occupy the space that they ought to have in terms of economic positioning. And so we started with the 5-year agriculture and food system roadmap that was developed in 2021. That document was designed to x-ray the possibilities in agriculture in the state, show us where we have our strengths and how to reposition agriculture and how to scale food production from the then 25% to 40% in the life cycle of that document. In fact, the document was designed in 2021 and was to take us through some radical changes in the system and then be reviewed at the end of year 2025. So currently we are reviewing that document to see how far we've gone and how to scale and reposition Lagos in agriculture over the next 5-10 years again. But that document actually focused on looking at Lagos and seeing where our strength lies, and that is in the area of market. And so the document gave rise to a program that we call the Lagos Food Systems Transformation Agenda, which seeks to look at the food systems in Lagos State, visa food markets, x-ray the issues and the challenges around there, and the characteristics and the current positioning, and then see how we can transform our food markets to world-class standards, taking care of all of the issues that arise in terms of food wastage, post-harvest losses, traffic inefficiencies around traditional markets, and giving us modernized infrastructure,
yes,
where Lagosians can get to and get quality food, well packaged, neatly packaged,
yes,
in a healthy environment. So from that document, we began to implement what we call the Lagos Central Food Security Systems and Logistics Hub, which is the first tier of that agenda. Now, what that project is all about is designing a world-class food storage facility, which we are doing on 400 hectares of land in Ekpe, Mr. Governor launched that program, and present the phase 1 is at about 85 to 90% completion. We hope that by the first quarter of 2026, that project will be on stream.
Okay.
The major benefit of that project is that it's able to store food that will last Lagos for at least 90 days. So presently, food comes into Lagos because of inadequate storage systems. We have high post-harvest loss, close to 60 to 70% of food brought into Lagos, especially perishable tomatoes, pepper, and the vegetables, go to waste.
Sure.
And that's why you have high prices of food in the market. Because if a farmer brings a basket of tomatoes and he loses 70%, 70% goes to loss or to waste, he still must recover his money on the balance.
And even gains.
And even make a profit. So we are designing the facility which will hold very fantastic food storage system, cold chain storage facilities that will take Lagos store food for Lagos. So even in the period of scarcity, we have enough food to push out, such that when your tomatoes will grow from 20,000 per basket to over 200,000 per basket because of it's out of season, Lagos still has enough food stored to ensure that price of food is kept fairly constant throughout the year. So that project is the first phase 1 of that project is about 85% completion to 90% completion, and we said that, like I said earlier, by the first quarter of next year, that project should be launched and commissioned and put into use.
I'm just curious about the storage you're talking about, especially as it concerns perishable food. You talked about during the food scarcity, how are we going to store food for that era when we call these things perishable?
It's all about cold chain storage. We are designing the facility has a cold chain storage that will hold food that will at least for about 1,500 trucks of food per day. That is a fantastic world-class facility that is being built on 400 hectares of land at Ekpe there.
Okay.
So that is the upscale of what you have in my 12 or Idilepo market. But all of the inefficiencies are completely taken out of the equation. The food graded for quality, for assurance, and all of those things. So that is clearly there. But if the downscale of that is what we call the mid-level agro-produce hub. So that's the first tier where you store food.
Yes.
But then cascading from that point, you have the mid-level agro-produce hubs, which we have launched the prototype at the Fresh Food Hub at Idioro in Mushin. We launched that program, that project, December 2023, and it's up and running. That facility, presents us the opportunity of having accurate data on food consumed in that axis per week in Lagos. So we know what quantity of tomatoes is consumed in that from that market. We know all food class of food that is presented. We're able to aggregate data on it all, so that planning is made very easy now from the pilot of that program. And presently we have launched that, and we are also building now at Agege. We are building at Abidjan. Abidjan should be up on stream by very, very early next year. We should have that program commissioned. If not very early next year, that project should be up and running.
All right.
We're also building at Bombata area in the Lagos Island. The idea is that for each local government and LCD of Lagos, you have a world-class food distribution facility
in each local government.
That's the design.
Amazing.
For that program.
All right, then I would have to cut in there. Lagos, Nigeria. The program is Lagos Farmers. Of course, the maiden edition of the show. I'm sure you're wondering who I have been speaking with, or who has been taking us to the classroom this morning. I have the honor of hosting the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, in the studio with me this afternoon. And yes, he has been reeling out a whole lot that the Lagos State government is doing as regards to food storage and food supply in Lagos. Emmanuel Fatai Audu is my guest on the show this afternoon. All right, let's get down to the next question now. Talk to me. You've said so much about what the state government is doing. Which of them appears to be the biggest achievement, this administration has invested in?
Okay, so that will be what we call the Produce for Lagos program. Now, Produce for Lagos is designed to ensure steady supply of food for Lagosians. Now, that program has two points. While the produce in Lagos for Lagos, which means that we have farmers already in Lagos who are active in production in Lagos, provide support, provide capacity building, and extension services to ensure they're able to scale their production and improve local, what we call domestic sufficiency in Lagos. And also we also sign upland production partnership with upcountry states, states in the northern areas of the country and other regions that are known for certain food commodities. So that partnership is ongoing under the Produce for Lagos program to structure production meant strictly for the Lagos market. And backing that program is what we call the 500 billion naira guaranteed offtake fund. Now that fund is a game changer for agricultural production, not just in Lagos, for the entire length and breadth of Nigeria. The major challenge for farmers is funding and market. Those are the two things.
Really?
So Lagos is saying whatever you produce, whatever quantity of food you produce, as long as it meets the standard and our requirement, Lagos is ready to offtake, to buy this and store in our production facility and storage facility that I mentioned earlier on. So what does that tell you? We are backed up by that fund, that guarantee offtake fund. So any farmer as far as Zamfara State can come to Lagos, take on production agreement for certain commodities or certain classes of food, go back to his or her bank anywhere that have a guaranteed offtake from Lagos, backed by a funding that easily unlocks financing to any farmer across. Because any bank that wants to support you.
Hold your thought a bit. Let's take this call. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, Poppy.
All right.
That's on there.
All right. So sorry to cut in there.
All right. So any financial institution wanting to back any farmer will ask you who is going to buy this product at the end of the culture period. If you cannot supply that, no bank is ready to give you funding. But Lagos is standing now to say we are ready to offtake whatever you produce so far as it meets our standards and our quality, and that gives assurance to the farmer.
Okay.
So before
I'll cut in there. From your record, the big challenge for farmers out there has to be funding and, of course, buyers, marketers. Now, where is the place of insecurity in all of this?
Now, insecurity for upcountry regions where you have those recorded only limits production, access of farmers getting to their farms. In most of the states that we have signed production agreements with, Kwara State, Niger State, and some other states where you have a strong farming activity ongoing, I'm sure their governments, especially Benue State also, where we were some 2-3 months ago, their governors and their state officials are ready to work with us in ensuring that their farmers do have access to their farms and they keep producing. But for us in Lagos is where if you have farms ongoing or you have farming activities going on and you need a market, Lagos is the market, and Lagos is saying we are ready to offtake from you.
Okay, a quick one. Is there insurance backing in this?
Yeah, all of those things, that's when you talk of the financial end of it.
Okay.
Because when you take up a farming activity, it is expected in modern agricultural production with climate change and all those things that you as a farmer should take insurance. And many insurance companies have come up now who are offering insurance services for farming activity. So it's a given. Any farmer anywhere, before you go into production, you must take insurance over your farm. Gone are the days of where you suffer loss due to drought, due to flooding, and then you are completely at a loss. That will be very wrong if you're a farmer and you don't take on. Even with these days that you have all manner of diseases coming off, especially for poultry and aquaculture, you should take on insurance along the way. It's a necessity for every farmer.
For every farmer.
Yes.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Let's quickly take a look at what the roads are saying before we continue with the conversation this afternoon. From the Lekki Peninsula axis, moving from Lekki Peninsula Gate connecting Farm City, Road 12 inward Admiral to roundabout. It is a busy one due to evening rush. The return journey is quite free. Lekki Link Bridge connecting Alexander is busy due to rush also. Alexander Link inward Admiral to roundabout is a bit busy. Road 1314 in Ward UPA, Admiralty, Zenith Junction, Dom Freedom Way. It's all free. Beyond that point, you have it busy connecting Admiralty roundabout, but Balola connecting Dom, Car Wash, VFS, Ikati. It's a bit busy there due to alternation, while the return journey from Ikati connecting VFS, Car Wash, Dom, Babalola is a free movement. All right, then. Moving on now, let's take a look at the next question here. And that would be, what steps is the ministry taking to reduce Lagos State's, to reduce the heavy dependence on other states for food supply?
Okay, yes. It's a given that Lagos is the smallest state in the federation, but the highest population. Presently 24 going on to 30 million in the question of a few years. So whilst we are looking at exploring partnership with top country states to produce for Lagos, we're also very particular about scaling production in the state, because we know agriculture has potentials for job creation and youth engagement down here. So what we're doing as a ministry...
Hold your thought, PS. Hello? Hello?
I didn't hear the question they asked me.
Hello, can you hear us? You're on to Lagos Traffic Radio. All right, then. So sorry about that.
Okay, so for us, we're working on input support for our farmers. Presently, we have the Onjeku farmer subsidy market currently ongoing. The phase 2 of that program. It started last week, Wednesday, and where we are pushing out food, poultry feeds, live fish feeds also, for broiler production, for fish production, and fish aquaculture, and hatchery producers. We're pushing out feed to them at 25% subsidy, courtesy of the governor of Lagos State. The idea around this is to ensure that farmers are able to improve their production, because we know fish feed in aquaculture and poultry accounts for about 70% of our production cost. So the idea around this is that if we're able to drop the price of fish feed that gets to the farmers, and they can produce at reduced cost because of the subsidy government is injecting, then of course for the Christmas period, Lagosians can get eggs at very reduced price. For example, with our farmers that we're working with under this program, they've agreed that price of egg for this period will be sold at 5,000 per crate, from about 5,800 per crate, because of the benefits that they are deriving for this program. A kilogram of fish also, that ordinarily is being sold at about 5,500 thereabout, will be sold for 3,500 by the Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers Association, who are beneficiaries of this program also. So that we are doing to ensure that we're able to keep afloat the livestock and aquaculture industry. Going on, then we have capacity building and training, and also bringing about youth involvement in agriculture. The average age of our farmers now is about 55 going to 60 years of age, and the idea around is that if you don't take strategic steps to ensure that you're able to bring in youth into the space, in the question of time, you have reduced farming population, which of course means a drop in food production. So we are training our youths now. Presently, we have approval to train 1,100 youths under the Lagos Agripreneurship Program, which is a 4-month program, 1 month classroom training and 3-month internship program to train them in agriculture, and also at the end of the period support them with input to carry out production activities within the space. So we are training and empowering and supporting youth to produce food in the state. Capacity building, extension services, input support we're doing as a state government. Lagos
is being referred to as a city of aquatic splendor, and that's because of the aquatic nature. But then again, we're considering farming in these parts of the state where we have arable land, the likes of Badagry, the likes of Ekpe, the likes of Ikorodu. Are we considering the encroachment of herders? Because the reason why we have these a spate of insecurity in some part of this country is because they have farmland that herders can actually invade. Are we doing anything to safeguard this?
In that direction, the states had already, put into a law in place. That's the anti-grazing law, open grazing law, which is effective and in operation in the state. That had been done about 2 years ago by this present administration. So that, bans open grazing within communities. That is a no-go area for us in Lagos State. So that safeguards our farming areas and community that have been designated as farming regions. And also we have a strong enforcement team with the Lagos Task Force, on stray animals across the state. So if you're in Lagos and you see stray animals around you, simply call into the ministry, the Veterinary Service Department, backed up by the Lagos Task Force, will move in to confiscate such animals so that no damage is caused either in the community or to farming activities across the state.
I was going to ask that because when we're talking about, Lagosians you putting up farmland, in their premises, and then we're not considering this kind of law and, just to protect those who choose to go into this kind of business.
Yeah. Let me take you back to the ECPEP project that will be commissioned early next year, right?
Yes.
So with food brought in from outside of Lagos, with partnership from outside of Lagos, how long can the food stock there take us in Lagos State?
Yeah, like I said, the plan is to have food because we're heavily dependent on food from outside of the states.
Sure.
Close to 60% of our food consumption is imported into the state. So the idea is to have the facilities in that location, dealing floors, food aggregation centers, abattoirs within that space. So we estimate that food that will last Lagos for 90 days, at least 90 days.
That's 3 months.
3 months will be stored. So should there be distortion in supply, Lagos still has enough food to push out from the reserve to ensure that Lagosians are fed and no one goes to bed hungry in Lagos. And that also helps us with price modulation also. So that there's no point in time where you have, when you have high production, we are storing. At the period where it's out of season, we are pushing out. So we're able to, modulate prices across for most agricultural produce.
Another quick one. With the aging population, we see that this administration is looking at the youth. About 2 weeks ago, a program was held, right? The second edition of Agri-Innovation.
Okay.
Can you just tell us some of the beautiful highlights of the second edition?
Okay, so the idea around the Lagos Agri-Innovation Club is actually a club of young Lagosians who are into agriculture. And we formed that club to bring them together so they can network and also, leverage on each other's strengths and abilities. For example, some of the club members are into production, some are into processing, some are into distribution, some are into marketing, some are even into logistics. So they're able to network among themselves and render service that will help, to scale and improve their agri-businesses. So we put them together in that club, and then we also provide, mentorship from successful commercial farmers in the states who are able to mentor them and help them, some of them even to midwife their businesses and take them up, where they have issues around or weaknesses around their production facilities. So the club is in place, and then we welcome Lagosians who are into production, Lagosians under 40, specifically under 40 years of age, to join that club, and they get the benefits around them. But beyond that, also to render further support, we have an Agritom program where Lagosians were invited to pitch their ideas in agriculture, backed with technology. Okay, so they pitched their ideas, and for about 2,000 entries that we got, and they're taking them through some mentorship. We supported the successful ones with a 150 million grant pool 2 weeks ago at the Lagos Agri-Innovation Summit.
200.
Yeah, 200, about 150 million naira pool of fund was distributed based on their needs and their capacities and it's a grant pool that used to improve their businesses.
All right, then I'm afraid we'll have to end it here for today. So what would be your advice to Lagosians as we wrap it up on the show this afternoon?
So agriculture is no longer a pastime. Agriculture is a business that you can focus on, and it can sustain you and generate a level of income that you know will sustain families if focused on. Also, therefore, if you're out there and you are interested in agriculture, please contact us in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems. Also, that open space in your backyard can be put into productive use. For me, for example, it's over 5 years I last bought plantain in the market. Whatever plantain I consume is produced right in my backyard along with fish. So if you have that open space, get something growing. I tell people, let's all grow something, because that is the easiest way to grow.
All right, let us all grow something, because that is the easiest way to grow. That's where we drop the anchor on today's edition of Lagos Farmers. The voice of Mr. Emmanuel Fatai Audu, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. I have done this afternoon with Adedeji Odulesi. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being a part of the program. And together with the gentlemen in the studio, I have Aderonke Toju to be the program manager. That's at Lagos State Agricultural Development Authority. Thank you so much for being a part of the show also. Until next week, when the program makes a return, my name is Taiwo Barua. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Lagos.